Hello, this is Brian again. Welcome to part 3 of my Conifers of the Blue Jay Campground and Falcon Group Campgrounds area. So I'm back by the entrance to Falcon Group Campground. Fortunately, there's a sign posted on the gate there that says that proceeding beyond that into the campground is not permittable right now, so I am not going to do so. I'm going to stay just outside here where these trees are. The ones that was really confident to be Monterey pines. I thought were full-blown Monterey pines. Then we're wondering if they were bishop pines, not bishop, but knobcone pines. But now that I'm looking at these trees more carefully, I'm entertaining a third possibility of what species of pine this is. Now here's a cone I gathered from underneath one of these trees, and it's got these little bristles. So that could entertain a third possibility, bishop pine, Pinus muricata. Now, the thing is, I am not very experienced with bishop pines because, unless this is one which is doubtful, I've never really been by a bishop pine. I've been by Monterey pines and knobcone pines on many occasions. So these ones still kind of leave me scratching my head. As you saw in my first video, I was debating, or I was really strongly talking about these being Monterey pines. This kind of discusses the problem that amateur botanists like me go through while trying to get a definitive answer as to what I'm looking at. See, this cone here kind of has that little rounded knob tip, much like the Monterey pine has, whereas this cone has a little bit of a claw. Well, not a claw, but more of a prickle at the end of the cone scale. So what I'm thinking with these pines here, there are a few options here. I'm saying with maybe about 60% confidence that I'm looking at Monterey pines here. And anybody who can tell these right off the bat by looking at the cones I just showed on the video, please plug it in the comments. You can tell me I'm totally off base, that these could be hybrids between Monterey and knobcone pines, which do happen. Pinus radiata and Pinus attenuata, Monterey and knobcone pines, are known to hybridize. They've done so under horticultural aspects, and they've been known to do it in the wild. So for all I know, these could be hybrids between the two. The hybridization of knobcone and Monterey pines, I believe, yields a more drought-resistant pine, which is a lot more along the lines of what knobcone pine is tends to be more of a hardy tree of drought, and I believe has a little bit more cold tolerance, but it has the really fast growth rate of Monterey pines. Now again, these needles are very dark green, but the branching structure to me suggests Monterey pine, the way the branches are. Just the way the branches are, kind of where they kind of curl up. These just remind me more of Monterey pines. Like I said, these could be hybrids, and after I get home, I'm going to do some very much needed research in looking at the cones of Monterey, knobcone, and bishop pines. See this cone right here, you can see this one's got a little bit of a prickle at the end of the cone scale. And if you looked at part 2, you saw my knobcone pines. The knobcone pines, ones I know for a fact are knobcone pines, they have much longer claws that stick out. These ones have shorter ones, and some of them are just rounded. Some of them have a prickle on the end of them. So that's why I'm standing here scratching my head over these. I shouldn't be. I should be able to tell them apart. But then again, that's the part of an amateur botanist's struggle, is to take the time, accept that he or she does not know 100%, and then takes the knowledge at hand, goes and researches it further. And that's why partially why I'm doing this video, to show, I mean, I'm not a know-it-all. I'm definitely not a know-it-all. I'm not a complete expert. I know a lot of people have left comments like, wow, you're a tree expert. Well, I do have a pretty good base in tree knowledge, but I'm also learning, because how I get to that level is by taking chances of, being wrong. I've been wrong before, and I've been wrong. I believe I've been wrong on videos, and when I realize it, I put a comment up that say, hey, I made this comment about this tree at this time in the video, but in reality, this is what I found out to be true instead. So I'm not afraid of being wrong, but I also don't like to give out wrong information. So that's why I take the time to do research. It helps me grow as a self-taught amateur botanist. And it's also interesting just taking the time, going through the research. This is stuff I do for fun and self-enrichment. I don't do this for a job. I don't do this for profit. I do it because it interests the heck out of me. I'm very interested in trees, and I know it shows. So here we go. See, this one doesn't even have look at it. This cone doesn't even have a prickle on it. This one kind of has just a little bump, not even a prickle. So that's why I think it's very important that one take the time to thoroughly research all the different aspects. See, that one did not even have a prickle on the end of it. This is the same branch, mind you, from the same tree. This is from the same tree. This one has a little bit of a prickle. This one just has a little bumpy. Some of these actually have prickles on them. So even within the same plant itself, there are differences. There are morphological differences of portions of the same plant that also need to be taken into account. Again, the cones, to me, suggest Monterey pine. They could also suggest hybrid of Monterey and Knobcone pine, which is very possible and does happen where they grow together. It also could mean I'm looking at a bishop pine, which I am not experienced with, since I don't live within the natural range of bishop pine, which is parts of, I think, Santa Barbara County scattered up to Northern California, and also a population of them, I believe, in Mexico. So I'm not familiar with bishop pine, as I've not been to where it is native. So, like I said, keep an eye out for any comment that I post on my own video or the description. And I'll be able to, hopefully, by the time I take some time to research on the internet and in my field guides, I'll be able to tell you more confidently that this is what I'm looking at. Maybe I won't be 100% confident even after research. That does happen. But the key is to take the time. If you're, like I said, if you're into botany like I am, and you're out there in the field looking at these trees and shrubs and plants, you might not get your answer right away. So sometimes it takes a little extra research. Maybe next time I'll do some research like another problem area where there are some trees or shrubs that I'm thinking are one thing, but it could be another thing, and kind of swirling around the idea in my head. Probably next time I want to do some more advanced research beforehand, so maybe I can have the information at hand while I'm recording. But thanks for sticking it out with me. I know this was a kind of a long-winded series on the conifers here at Blue Jay Campground, and I don't think I'm going to walk all the way down to it, but there is actually a tree. There is actually a Jeffrey pine here by Blue Jay Campground. I've done an extensive video on that one back in October, but if you go over to where that little wide shoulder is between the two campgrounds, where the big meadow is, where the big meadow sprawls out below you, you take a little use trail, you hike across the meadow on that use trail, you'll find a pine tree that's got really long needles. It's shaped like a coulter pine. It's got really long needles like a coulter pine, much longer than you'd usually see on a Jeffrey pine. But the cones, again, I looked at the cones, they were all Jeffrey style pine cones. They were Jeffrey pine cones. I didn't see any intermediate characteristics, which also leads to one other thing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go and show that. You can, I'll put the link up in the information in the upper right corner of the screen, where it says letter I on the top right of the screen, about that pine tree over there. But again, this is a very rich area, so this is a very good area for botanists to come out and try it out. It's beautiful over here. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with my wishy-washiness, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.